Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday today. So yeah, thank you for your patience on this week's integration work or this week's video about integration versus embodiment. So happy to week 13 in the first round of Diamond Heart Project for 2026. And I'm just releasing this video to you. Just really feel called to share this information. It's really interesting. We can always talk later on how this stuff comes through, but these pivotal moments around the extreme guidance around this is what you're here to deliver this week. So this week again is about, or this video is about integration versus embodiment. And you know, some of you have sat, or all of you have sat with medicine in the ceremonies, and we go through this 4 to 6 week integration period. And it's really beautiful because the integration has to do with like you integrating that clarity, that information, that experience that you just had in the medicine work or the ceremony space, and beginning to integrate it back into your life and really beginning to, on a frequency level, allow your mental body, emotional body, energetic body, physical body begin to like commune with the frequency, because I understand everything is vibration. So talking about straight, you know, I guess kind of science, if you're spiritual science around it, is that in the ceremony or the meditations or the journeys or in the medicine work, you receive frequencies, which comes through as understandings around something about your life or an experience in the journey. And that holds a certain vibration or frequency. And so as you do the integration work, you begin to allow that new frequency to begin to kind of merge or begin to what you might call bleed into like the frequency of your emotional body, your mental body, physical body, energetic body, and those frequencies begin to merge into one, right? Like kind of like mixing hot water and cold water together. But the point is like the natural state and frequency of your emotional body begins to merge with that newfound understanding or clarity or experience you received in the ceremony work, and it begins to come together and you begin to integrate it into your life. And so just know, like, another piece of information, like your emotional body can have a certain frequency to it. Your physical body can have a certain vibration to it or frequency. Your mental body can have its own frequency, and you might feel that shift as you kind of shift through these different parts of yourself. And the goal on some level of all this work is to bring all those frequencies together, right? And just know that you'll never have a frequency drop lower than what it is, but you can raise frequencies from where they are to a higher vibration, which is great. So that's what's about, really bleeding them together, bringing all the 4 parts of yourself like together as one. But that's integrating. And the next step is like the embodiment, right? And I'd have to say a good example for that myself is like, you know, through my own inner work and through these sacred technologies that we are now practicing, implementing into our life or integrating into our life, like I'm able to embody trust. Like I don't have to initiate trusting life, right? I don't have to initiate like coming into peace with a challenging situation. I don't have to initiate or integrate calmness in a reactive moment, right? Not to say there isn't a space to be, but like those certain qualities around the state of my being as I begin to find this centeredness between all parts of myself coming into one frequency together and being more aware of that frequency and being able to elevate it and do what I want with it allows me to embody like these teachings, like the things that I say to you or share or teach. Like I don't have to consciously remind myself to like implement that understanding. It just naturally happens. There's an embodiment that has happened compared to like integrating those teachings into my life when I operate in my daily life, right? Like, you know, especially around the trust, and I've noticed that over the past of like the last couple of years, there's been really like an embodiment of the trust. And it wasn't that I didn't embody it before, but there was like a, you know, a reminder. I'd have to like sometimes remind myself like, okay, this is the moment to trust, right? Like when we change patterns, like when we notice a pattern showing up, and then we acknowledge it, we accept it, and then we replace it with trust, like those kind of things. Like it's really shifted into a place of embodiment, and it's just a difference in the two. And sometimes people throw these words around, and I only said this because there just seemed to be, I witnessed a couple of times over the past couple of weeks where somebody was throwing around embodiment and they meant integration. Somebody also was throwing around integration, meaning embodiment. And there's a difference. And I don't know why I put verses on the description, but it's just more about there's a difference between the two. And there's a transition. And again, there's nowhere to be, but you definitely feel yourself shift into a place of embodiment from a place of integration. So just really remind yourself of these steps of how it kind of flows into your life. And even though you might find challenging times of integration, which I know a lot of people do, especially coming out of ceremony, it gets to a place where there's an embodiment now, and you're able to like settle in, and you really, sometimes these topics or these thoughts or philosophical ideas around how this process works of energy and how it shifts is always so much more like a thought or a belief or a construct of understanding compared to actual experience. And the embodiment is really when you begin to actually experience that integration in your life that's already happened. And it's really beautiful in how it transitions. And so that's the difference between the two. I just really feel called to share that. Hopefully that helps somebody on this call or on this video and you have clarity. So blessings. You always bring some more questions to Integration Call on Sunday. All right. Aloha.